Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Harden podcast. My name is Tom O'Mahony.
My name is Owen Colgan. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm mighty. All the better for seeing you. Today's reception is mighty. We should go for this time of the day more often because I think everybody's on fucking Pornhub around the last time we were there.
I think so. When you go on the evening, everyone's kind of relaxing for settling into an evening, and as you said, Pornhub. And that's. Can you hear that lad outside? No, there's a lad driving by in a quad. He goes up and down that road every single day, and his hair does be blowing in the wind. He looks like some sort of movie star that's got no movie to go to.
Hold on 1 second. So there's a lad booting up the road in a quad. I'm guessing he hasn't a tax insurance or not. If he's not even bothering with a helmet.
No, a helmet. He was wearing a pair of shorts on it the other day and an old chicken t-shirt, and he's got a mullet. Did you ever see one of those lads, Tom? And I'm sure I'm going bald myself, but did you ever see one of those lads he's got loads of hair for a bald man?
Yeah.
He's one of those lads where he's just got the mullet left, and up front then it's game over up front, but down the back then that's where the party's at.
That's what they call that the fucking Castlebar fucking waterfall. But I knew you'd like that one.
That's a good one. Now I like that. Have you said that one before?
It's normally I allocate it as for the county of origin of the story.
Nice, I like it.
I won't lie. I know lads are shaving their heads and everything out of fucking pure madness and everything else. I don't know why you wouldn't shave it any other time, but I am fair tempted to do the mullet. I've been talking about it for years. Like,
yeah.
What you reckon?
Oh, go for it, Tom, because you'll never live in these times again where you can go for the mullet. But you know what? Do a couple of steps down to the mullet. Don't start with the mullet. Start with maybe like trying out a couple of new bits that you wanted to do, like maybe a mohawk. And if you don't like that, get rid of the mohawk and go down to the mullet. But I think a mullet would look awful well on you.
Do you think so?
Oh yeah, mullet O'Mahony. Get yourself a quad and you're flying it. Fucking hell. It could be, and you know what? Get yourself a leather jacket with tassels. I'll sell you a jacket, Tom. it's a brown one. It's a sheepskin jacket.
That has filled me with confidence. I am so fucking getting ourselves to shave a mullet into my hair. I'm going straight to it. Fuck the mohawk. I'm going straight to it. I believe in what you're saying to me. Go
for it, and you just shave it off then, and you'll be grand. Because I was trying to get the missus to shave my head the other day, but we don't have one of those hair trimmers. So my one is in my parents' house, which I can't get to, and obviously Argos is not open for. It's not essential items to be buying fucking hair trimmers.
I reckon I have one somewhere around the house. I'll root it out somewhere and I'm going to, fuck it. Why not? And I get myself cut up a pair of jeans real high, maybe inordinately high, you know, and fucking, what do you think? Maybe a denim shirt first, open a bit too much, or a check shirt and then the leather jacket on top? Or no shirt?
I'd say, I don't know. It's a tricky one because the less clothes, the more you're going down that sort of different path altogether there, you know. Like one of the YMCA boys.
I don't know what. I mean, fuck it. This is the law of the jungle. We're in Mad Max territory here now at the minute. I don't think anything counts anymore, does it?
I don't. Nothing counts. Nothing at all. So I'd say go for it, Tom. And I'd say do a few videos of yourself out cutting wood to be funny.
Oh yeah. Jesus, now you're talking.
Survival.
I have a few blocks that I need splitting out the back. All right, Jesus, yeah.
Have you been doing any briskets recently?
No, but I have just quite literally. I'm in the door. I'm only in the door 5 minutes, and I could not find barbecue fucking coals. No place. Right. And I forgot then that didn't ourselves have years ago had an account with Musgraves, the cash and carry crowd. And her mother was on because they're cocooning, so she wanted a big box of chicken fillets, as you do. Right. Like this, you'd feed fucking like I don't know what this woman is going to do with all these chicken fillets, but she wanted a big fucking massive box, and so I said I'd go in there, look, just inside the door, fucking barbecue coals. So nice. This weekend I'll be barbecuing fucking everything from cups of tea to fucking pizzas to chicken wings to whatever I can barbecue. I'm going to fucking barbecue it this weekend.
Do you have a pit or what do you have?
No, I have they call it a kettle. It's just nice. The big round.
Yeah. They're brilliant. Very good.
So if you alternate the air kind of with it, you can smoke a thing over a long period. Like if you line up the coals right and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So it's technically not a smoker, but you can make a smoker out of it. Like.
I got you, yeah. It must be a nice taste off that, is there?
Oh, I'll treat you. I'll tell you now, I'll treat you. Once this fucking shit is over now, I'm not kidding you. You might get out an engagement ring for me, I'd say. Once you
I can't wait to get out and fucking just knock around the place, call into people's houses and just, like, what are you here for? All right, just call in to say hello. You know, I'm sick of this coronavirus now. Everything on the phones and the laptops and the radio. Fucking radio is the worst. It's every story is about the coronavirus. And I'm getting driven demented.
I know. And we started off the podcast. If you're new to the podcast, hit subscribe. It's on all the platforms, as well as if you don't like the one you're fucking listening on. I mean, it's the strangest thing. All podcasts seem to say that. We're on all platforms. I'm fucking listening to you on a platform. So clearly you're everywhere. But we also have if you want to follow us, Harden Up Podcast on Instagram as well, just to keep up to date. But you're looking, we're only 16. Give us a rating. That's the important one on Apple Podcasts. If you give us the 5-star rating.
Give us the 5 stars, or just listen. It's hard enough for everyone out there in the real world. The coronavirus is here in town. The least you can do is give us 5 fucking stars, please.
Yeah. And if not, when this fucking shit ends, Owen in his jacket and me and my new haircut are calling around to your house and we're going to kick shit out of you.
You don't want Mullet O'Mahony and fucking Gansey Colgan after you.
Fucking Gansey Colgan.
The cruelest bastard this side of the coronavirus.
How's the cooking going?
Pretty good. Yeah, I can. You know, some days you'd be mad up for doing a load of shit. Like you'd have 25 things on the to-do list, and other days then you're like, all right, I'll just watch a bit of shite here on the laptop. But the cooking is going well. What did I make this week? I know this sounds simple, but I make a lovely bread. Like I make my own bread and I make my own like avocado sandwich with it. Ooh. And it's very, very tasty. Put a bit of mustard in there, a bit of tomatoes, and you season tomato with this old shite I got in TK Maxx. It's like loads of herbs and spices. And I tell you one thing, it drives the woman mental.
Early nights after that stuff, is it?
Oh God.
Tell me about the bread. Because I need to know, I'm getting into bread now at the minute. I started making flatbreads. Wait, and I'll tell you how piece of piss these yolks are. Wait till you hear how easy these yolks. Tell me your bread recipe, your regime.
Well, there's about 25 different recipes. And actually, I went up to the shop the other day and I was asking the lady, she was telling me she's making brown bread. And then she gave me like about 78 ingredients. And I was like, surely you don't need all this. So I found a simpler one online. And you can use butter. I always forget this now. Butter. You mix the dry stuff first, the flour, the yeast, and a bit of salt.
Right.
And then you pour in like a cup of water, kind of like a slightly warm cup of water, not too cold. And then you start kneading it and sort of getting this into like a consistency that's not too wet, but also it feels like, as my girlfriend said, it feels like a breast.
Oh, nice.
Nice. So I put in a bit of flour on it. Not on the breast now, on the dough.
Oh, sorry, me and my mullet were going down another road there in my head. Go on.
And then we just give it a good bit of a kneading, and then just like try to make it into balls, whatever. Depends on how many loaves you want, and then just let it dry out, maybe in the grill or on the windowsill for about 25 minutes or up to an hour, and then give it a bit more of a kneading, give it a good going over, and then make it into whatever shape you want, and then leave it to rise in the oven. And the hardest part is trying to get the dough right, because there's plenty of times where I've met it where it's kind of still a bit wet inside, but trial and error, that's all you can do.
This is Jesus Christ. See, I got into one. I like typing in the word simple. Here's advice. Here's fucking hard advice for you. Type in the word simple before any recipe you're thinking of.
Yeah.
And by Jesus, you cut out all them wankers who want to tell you a story about their 78 fucking ingredients.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing else going on in their lives.
Or for kids. I sometimes do that if I'm really stuck on some topic. For kids,
That is right. I quite literally, it is our wedding anniversary on next Wednesday. And we said, sure, look, we'll maybe bake a cake or something like. And I said, chocolate cake. Well, fuck me. There was about 17 ingredients. I went, Jesus Christ, I'll be all the day in the shop. Typed it in again. for kids. More ingredients. Thank you very much. That's more like.
That's a lot more like it. That's a handy way if you want to find out some information about something that's very deep. You're just like, fucking space for kids.
Quantum physics for kids.
Yeah, so, very good. Yeah, so how's the cooking going for yourself?
Fucking flat out, man. I do like cooking, but the bread, so the flatbread, oh, sweet Jesus. So there's two ways you can go about the actual cooking of it, but here's the thing. Essentially, you need 2 ingredients. That's it.
Wow.
2 ingredients. Greek yogurt and self-raising flour. That's it.
Wow.
2 parts self-raising flour to 1 part Greek yogurt. And get your hands in there and knead the shit out of it until it turns to dough. Now you can add whatever you want after that. You can put a drop of oil in to give it a bit of a crust. You can put whatever you want. So you say you're making kind of naan bread / pita bread yolks. You can fuck in a bit of thyme, a bit of oregano, a bit of coriander, whatever you're into. You can throw it in.
Dried tomatoes.
That's next. That's next on the list. I was in Aldi today. I got the jar of roasted peppers. I got the jar of sun-dried tomatoes. So they'll be going in over the weekend.
Nice.
And there's 2 ways of doing it. You can fuck it straight in a dry pan. Straight in a dry pan if you want for 2-3 minutes either side. Or we got given back a gift that we gave to the in-laws, my in-laws, over Christmas. They wanted an air fryer, right?
Right.
And I'd say they thought the chips were going to come out of it like the fucking chipper. And they said, that yolk's not working at all. I said, for fuck's sake. And at this stage, it's gone too long for me to take it back to the shop. I went, well, I suppose we own an air fryer now. Sure, for fuck's sake. So essentially, yeah, like I said, we inherited it. And it's a mighty yolk. It's a fucking mighty yolk. It's like a tiny fucking convection oven is what it is. But it cooks yolk super fucking quick. Get your hands on one of them. Anybody listen, get your hands on one of them. The amount of fucking simple recipes out there. So what you do is, after you knead it out, you leave it in the bowl, maybe by the window or somewhere warmish, same as that, to prove they call it, right? Only for 10 minutes. Scatter a bit of flour back down on the worktop. And flatten one of them out. So that recipe there will do 2 of the flatbreads, right? And you knead it down into, or get a rolling pin. Fuck it in. It's like crispy, fucking, like bubbles up, like, into a proper pita. Oh, Jesus Christ. Needless to say, just get up the stairs after that, Tommy.
Christ above, that sounds...
I was in the good books, I can tell you.
I can imagine, yeah. And did you throw in a bit of meat into it, or an avocado, or a couple of slices of tomato?
Just much like the haircut advice that you've given me, I started salt first.
Yeah.
But all it was salt and pepper first time out. Then I've moved on into a couple of herbs because we had an Indian the other night, so I threw a bit of coriander and garlic granules into it. I thought I'd never find use for garlic granules, but fuck it, I have. But now I'm after getting these roast peppers and stuff like that. Yeah,
different level.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm quite excited about my bread escapades at the minute.
It's nice. It's nice when you make a bit of food for someone and they're like, you can see in their face they're really enjoying it. Like, they're like an old dog when you give them a bone or something like that,
But I was only saying this to Steve Cummins, who's mad into he hosts the Laughter Lounge a lot. He's fucking mad for the cooking. And I says, well, what is it? Like, why would you love to give somebody a bit of grub? Like, and I think a lot of it is the same as why do you tell somebody a joke? Because you want to get them to laugh and to appreciate. I think it's a performance, isn't it? You're going, what do you think? What do you think of my bread? Oh, what do you think?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. You want them to like it. There's nothing worse than if you make something and they don't like it. You feel like, geez, you've insulted the whole family there.
Oh, I'll never forget it. And the day has been marked down. I brought a gang of mates over to the mother's house there, just years ago, and we were all after a big old sesh. And the next day we landed in, and one of the lads had his girlfriend with him, who she wife now. She's a bit of a weapon, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the mother's cooking is good now, but the mother, like I told you before, the mother could have been in the SAS, you know what I mean? She's a hard woman. She's a hard country woman, and this one didn't finish her dinner. Well, she didn't even get it attempted. She maybe only got about a quarter of it into it. Well,
what was for dinner?
Roast beef.
Oh, how would you leave that on the plate?
Yeah, this is a bollocks of a woman, like. And there's good stuff now. The old fella had fucking aged it, and
Yeah.
You know, he'd aged it about 50 days, so you could nearly eat it with a spoon. It was falling apart on the plate. Like, you know.
You get chocolate into your mouth.
Oh, you're talking now hangover food 101, like. You
Nice.
fucking lick the plate after. But this one anyway turned her fucking nose up. And I'd say the mother has gotten a tattoo of the date on her fucking arm.
Right.
It's
you won't forget it.
No. That woman is not welcome around the house ever again.
Christ above. And what was her reason for not eating the grubber? Was she down her nose?
I think she was kind of half sick from the beer as well, like. But so were we all. But we all fucking wolfed everything that was on the plate.
Oh yeah. My the cooking my mother does is just endless. She'd be making. I remember, like, when we were younger, like, if the uncles and aunties came over, like, because she wanted to do all the cooking. That was kind of her thing, like, you know. If you went in the kitchen, she'd be like, get out of the kitchen, you know. But is it like in like that was her, like, kingdom. But she'd always be cooking for the aunties and uncles, and the amount of food it'd be like Mrs. Doyle filling up the table, you know. Beautiful dips and sandwiches and your own coleslaw. When I think about it, and the sandwiches were so nice all the time.
There's something about a mother's sandwich.
Yeah.
Isn't there?
Oh, it's a different level. Whatever they're putting into it, the mayonnaise or the ham or whatever. But no, the sandwiches I make are shite. But they're all right.
Stop. I mean, but there's something chemical in it, because herself became a mother 8 months ago. Her sandwich game has gone through the fucking roof in 8 months. I don't know what it is. The young fella can't even eat sandwiches yet. But for some reason, it's like a rite of passage. Her sandwich game has gone through the roof.
Wow. Suits you, so.
Oh, hey, happy days.
Who does the cooking, most of the cooking in the gaff?
I actually do most of the cooking. Do most of the cooking. So I do like it, but no, in fairness, herself is good. She's good at it now.
Yeah. What are you chomping on there?
I shouldn't be eating either. A fucking sandwich. Sandwich.
Right.
She made me a sandwich when I came in the door. And
Do you know what I was trying to do the other day, Tom? I was trying to do a bit of intermittent fasting, more so out of laziness. I was like, all right, you know what? I'll give it another few hours. But I remember I ate, I think it was myself and my missus, I think last time we ate was 8. And she does the intermittent fasting. She reckons it's very good for the concentration and everything like that. It's good for concentration and not getting sick, because apparently your body, it will, like, I don't know exactly how it works, but apparently that there's like a disease or like some sort of, you know, like a flu or something like that in your body. The intermittent fasting your body will start concentrating on killing the diseases or something like that in your body. I don't know. I'll have to look into that a bit more, but pretty much it gives you a really sort of centered concentration and a healthier immune system.
So tell me this: what's the gap? What's the timeline of the day? So of your intermittent fast?
Well, I think that the best thing to do is try to do it when you're sleeping, because it's harder to stay away from the food when you're awake, obviously. So what we try to do is maybe 8 p.m. and then we'll probably go till 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock next day. I think it's 18 hours you need to go into ketosis, which is something when I think your body turns the carbohydrate. Yeah, I think something to do with the carbohydrates in your body start burning in a different way, and it burns a lot of the fat on your body, you know. But I have to look into that a bit more. But it's I was reading a lot about it and a lot of benefits to it, and obviously we used to do it when we were younger, a small bit. Like, well, I suppose we didn't, but you know the way people used to fast
for trocra.
Fast, well, but like I suppose so. Yeah. What am I thinking about here? I suppose we never fasted, but as in Christianity, you were meant to fast, weren't you? Wasn't there like meant to be 1 or 2 days in the year you're fasting, or for a week or two? Lent,
you're right. I think you're right, but you were very good Catholics over there by the sounds of things too. Honest to God,
to be honest, I was saying it and I was like, you know what? I never fucking had to. I was never stuck for a bit of food in my life.
Are you sure you're not a Muslim? Maybe, you know, it was Ramadan that you're on.
Ramadan. That's what it was. Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
Once the sun goes down, he'd be fucking turn the fridge over.
Start flat. But that was intermittent fasting, anyways. But I've been doing it for a couple of days there the last few weeks, and it definitely feels like you've got better concentration, I think. But obviously, yeah. I've normally only done 15 or 16 hours, but that's still something you should give it a go.
I will. So what's the first meal of the day then? Is that a breakfast meal? You have at 12 o'clock?
You probably have lunch, but the beautiful thing is, in between the hours that you can eat, you can eat a hell of a lot of shite. Like you can eat lots of food.
Oh, fuck.
You have about 7 or 8 hour window there where you can eat big hearty meals, you know.
Well, fuck it, I'm going to give it a go because I've heard everybody talking about it, and it does make sense if you think about it. If we were cavemen wandering around, there wouldn't be grub sitting in a caveman's fridge. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You might go a day or two without a bite to eat.
You would. So that's one side of the things, and then the other side is that like it probably makes you appreciate food a bit more, you know, the food you're getting, because you know, as you said, if we walk into Tesco now, well, not now, but back in the day, you'd go in there and it's like 20 fucking types of chicken, 20 types of cheese. It's just all there on a plate for us. It's nearly too handy. So maybe it makes you appreciate the grub a bit more.
So do you put the grub in difficult places around the house to make it like a hunt? You know, you
I
don't have
to hide it myself, yeah. And then I'm like, fuck, I know exactly where that pizza is. It's up there in the attic.
And I go just fucking loaves of bread up onto the roof.
Fucking crows taking them away with them. But no, I don't hide the food anywhere around the house. But I do. My whole life has been a battle against food.
Has it?
I don't think I'm going to win. Well, I always want to keep eating all the time. I eat a lot.
Pick on you, sure. You're carrying no timber at all, sure.
Because I'm always like, I can't sit down for more than 5-10 minutes. Like if I'm in the house, I'd be like, should a cup of tea? And I'd be moving around the house and I'd be moving in and out of rooms, just going into rooms and walking out of them again, and just outside moving stuff, and just I feel like I have some sort of attention deficit.
Yeah, no, I do. I definitely have that. All right. I mean, people like to pat themselves on the back and say, "Oh, I'm just a workaholic," and all the rest of it. You're a mad cunt just like me that you can't sit fucking still. Yeah. The only way I can sit still even during this podcast is staring straight at you and going, right, one is there and I'm enjoying this moment. But as soon as I close this yoke, I have to be gone. Yeah. You know what I mean? I couldn't sit back now and go, oh, right. Even my dinner, I have to wolf it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the same. Exactly the same time. My missus to be like, just slow down. There's no rush. And I'm like, there's a rush somewhere. And you're just like, God, I've got to think about the next meal. And sometimes when I'm eating my dinner, I'm thinking about the fucking nighttime meal or whatever it is, you know?
I thought I was the only one that did that.
Oh, fucking, it's a heartbreaker because I'd be going through a bit of meat going, I wonder what I'll have for the breakfast tomorrow.
I thought I was the only one who did that. So,
must be me and you.
We're two secretly fat fuckers, so internally. So,
definitely, yeah. I think when we get to a certain age, well, I know for myself, when I get to probably 65, I'm just going to say to myself, you know what? Whatever you want, have it. And I'll be in McDonald's every day, and I'll be fucking eating burgers and pizzas and kebabs and stuff like that. You know, I kind of fluctuate. Sometimes I go through stages where I won't know I'm fat until I see a picture of myself with really bulbous cheeks.
The cheeks are the first ones to get it, aren't they? The big fat head. Like, yeah. I'll cop it straight away and go, right, time to back up the truck on that one and fucking stay away from the trough for a couple of weeks. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's hard though, because once you get into the cycle of eating the whole time and really enjoying food and eat shite, it's hard to get out of it. Chips are lovely.
Chips are fucking class. But what I do is I get bored of things too very quickly. So I get bored of being a fat cunt as well. So after about a month of fattening myself up, I'll go, it won't actually take me looking at myself in the mirror or whatever, but I will kind of go, all right, I'm sick to fuck of that now. And I suppose it's not ketosis or whatever, but I'll just fucking miss the odd meal because I'm just like, fuck that. Do you know, because it's just like an annoyed with stuff.
Yeah, it's like an inbuilt bit of discipline that you have from maybe childhood where you're like, I need to get back on the straight and narrow, because it's like a slope that gets more steep if you keep going down any kind of path. Now, if it's food or if it's cigarettes or alcohol or whatever it is, you know, you need to kind of keep it in check, because once you start turning into a glutton, it's a fucking slippery slope.
I think, you see, we're allowed to fucking pat ourselves on the back these days and go, sure, I deserve this. Yeah. And you're like, go back one generation and half the people walking around the place were starving fucking hungry. Do you know?
Oh, yeah.
We're the first generation, like you talked about, where there's any amount of food for us. There's fucking any amount of food everywhere for us. And 17 different types of it. So maybe we do need to just kind of go, I'm a bit of a, I think self-fat shaming is a healthy thing every so often. Without being a fucking bulimic, like, and hating yourself or body dysmorphia, but just kind of going, here. Like, I knew one day I got to a point I could feel a bit of side tit. Mm-hmm. I knew I'd been on the slope now a while, and I was after getting a new car. What car was I after getting? I had buckety seats. There's an Audi I was after getting. Had buckety seats on it. And whatever way I sat into it one of the days, and I was reaching back for the seatbelt, like an owl fella, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, just a bit of a push with the air.
And I felt a bit of side tit.
Oh.
I went, well now, either the car goes and I cod myself and get more comfortable seats, or I have to fucking back away from the trough and get rid of these side titties.
Yeah. It's good to be aware of that, though. You're right, though. It's good to be kind of clued into that kind of stuff, because before you know it, you could be swelled.
Getting the mother to let the trousers out.
Will you take a button off the belt there, will you?
Do people get trousers left out anymore?
Well, I don't think so, no. That's another thing, Tom, as well. Because we're spoiled with food, we're spoiled with everything, nearly. We're living in an era of options, and maybe too many options. But, you know, when I was younger, we used to always pass down the pants. But nowadays, if a pair of jeans are not fitting you, you just fuck them into the bin or wherever. Maybe into a clothes bank.
It's funny, isn't it? Funny that, like, I wonder would we go back to that? Because around the Mother's Way, there's a couple of old ones that are into her every week with a fucking dress or a frock, as they do often call it, and they're getting this yoke let in and this yoke let down, and fucking, because the mother's handy with the old needle and thread, like, and she only charges half, but even she's looking at him going, this dress is pure shite, you know. Are you sure you want me to actually work on it? Like, and they're going, oh yeah, because it's in their head. They only go out to the shops maybe twice a year to go buying, because they're farmers' wives and stuff. Like, they're not going to the shops pennies every Saturday. They're only going into the town to buy a dress maybe twice in the year.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, though. I think that's the smart way, because at least then you're more self-sufficient, and you're not going into pennies or whatever buying all the shite that's in there, because the amount of clothes you buy in pennies, and then you wash them once, and then they're fucked.
I heard people talking about the strangest things that they're looking forward to. What are you most looking forward to once this virus is we get the clear? We're out the gate like fucking cattle after in for the winter. Will you come running fucking naked through the fucking the wild hills of Mayo, or the flatlands of Mayo even?
You know what? I'll probably just stand really close to people for, like, every time I talk to someone, I'll just have a good conversation with them, and I'll keep shaking their hand, no matter what's been said in the conversation, just to, you know, just want to be around people and hang out with them and make them laugh. And I suppose I kind of do. I'm looking forward to the pub where there's a bit of music on in the background. It's not a big session, but it's a couple of pints and the fire's on and everyone's around, and we're like all looking at each other going, that was fucking crazy, wasn't it? That's the situation I'm looking forward to. That and hanging out with the parents, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. Even it only kind of struck me today. I was in the shop and I was getting a few bits for here and for ourselves parents. And I see the markings on the floor, you know, stay 2 meters back and stuff.
Yeah.
And I would be keen on staying away from a stranger anyway. But there was a moment where it just struck me for a split second going, all right, I've stalled the ball here. I physically have to stay 6 feet to 2 meters away from that fella, just because he was dawdling as well, like with his...
Yeah.
I wasn't in a mad hurry either, but he was fucking dawdling. And normally I'd kind of put a bit of pressure on, like, come on, horse, you know.
Yeah.
Aldi make it their business to hurry you through anyway. But
oh, yeah.
It was just that moment. I was like, oh, fucking hell. Not that I want to stand close to that cunt, but I can't.
I know. This is the thing. The option has been taken away from us. So that's the weird part about the whole thing. But it's crazy. It's crazy. I thought it would have... I mean, who thought it was going to go on for this long? But it seems like it's probably going to be like this for another, I'd say, 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. I was thinking too, because only up the road from me here inside in near Dalkey is Matt Damon. It's stuck in Ireland. No, he could be in worse places, you know what I mean? And he probably has a fucking fine pad rented too. So I was thinking of kind of see if he could sneak in and look in his windows or something. Like, I fucking love Matt Damon.
Do you have a drone?
I don't. No.
You can't really order one now either, unless, of course... Actually, I think Amazon are still delivering. So you could order one on Amazon and then send it over to Matt Damon's house and just send him over maybe a tape of some movie you've acted in. See if he'll give you a job.
Oh, I was going to start small first, like maybe drop in it.
Send him a picture of you with the mullet. What do you make of the mullet?
Just asking for your opinion there, Matt. Like, what you reckon? No pressure, no pressure. Just what you think.
Give me your review. But I did see a picture of him. He was down at some port or something like that down by the water with the bag of shopping from Super Value. Seems like a nice fella.
It seems easy going enough. I like that. I mean, it's a lovely little spot where he is, just like Dalkey it would be custom built for a fella like him, like Enya and Bono. I say Banyo. Enya and Bono. Banyo.
Enya and Banyo. Geez, that's like Enya and Bono's child who just floats around Ireland. I'm a witch. Banyo. Speaking of which, Tom, did you hear the crack about? Did you hear? I was reading. Looking online at Sinead O'Connor and McGregor were having an online spat there last night.
I thought they were mates.
You heard the crack about these strawberry coming to Ireland needing strawberry workers in Ireland for some company that needs picking. I'll do it again. That was a terrible, terrible fucking explanation. Tom, I was reading last night on Twitter that McGregor and Sinead O'Connor are having a small bit of a spat online because there's that company, Keeley's. Is that what you call them?
Keelings, yeah. They're fruit and spuds. Yeah, they do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they need like 150 people to their crops. And so they flew in people from Bulgaria. And I think McGregor was online kind of saying that they should close the airports and they should probably have got local people to do those kind of jobs or whatever. Sinead O'Connor then was saying something along the lines of, I don't think you're in a position to be given your opinion, like after previous racist comments. And then it sort of escalated a slight bit from there. Kind of McGregor gave her a dig about the song that she has, Nothing Compares to You, where that it's Prince's song, So it was getting a bit cheeky towards the end, but it seemed to kind of nothing else was said then after that really. But I thought the two of those were mates.
I thought they were mates too. Sure, didn't she sing for him coming out in one of his?
She did, and actually McGregor said he looked back on that video and he made a comment about it and he said, I would do anything for her. I would die. I think he said I would die for Sinead O'Connor. But it just goes to show you that Twitter, it's an easy place to fall into the wrong books of people, whether they're your friends or not.
I did, yeah, sure. I mean, we talked about it the last day, but it is interesting. But he has been saying that for a few weeks, and there is an argument for, for closing the ports or closing the airports, but at the same time, they only had, 900 through their arrivals yesterday or the day before. They were saying, look, it's not a free for all here. There was 900 where we'd normally have 100,000 through at this point in the summer. Have 100,000 people through our airport. We'd 900 through the airport. So it's a fair old reduction. And business still does need to go on. Now the ports still need to stay open, but I'd imagine holiday makers aren't going in and out. I don't think, not many people would be acting the bollocks, would they?
I don't think so, no. I don't think anybody's going on holiday now. It's just people, I think people that are stuck, that want to go back to their home country, or else, as you said, certain things need to be kept open for like business people that need to maybe make some deals when it comes to whatever, getting grub or getting masks or whatever into the country. So I think a certain amount, I think 900 is pretty good considering it was 100,000.
So the ones that came in from Keelings, all of them, they came in from Sofia. I'm just looking at it here now. So they came in from Bulgaria, and the problem was that there was no social distancing whatsoever. I don't think anybody's given out about bringing in foreign workers because they come in the whole time to pick the strawberries. But I think the issue being is that the lads all sauntered in through arrivals, arms around each other, having the crack. 200 of them came in on a chartered Ryanair flight, and that's where the issue happened. But I picked all sorts of stuff when I was small during the summers. There was jobs going at picking stuff. I wouldn't have imagined that there was. You see, I suppose the problem is they're probably only paying small money and putting them all up in fucking hay barns.
You think so?
Yeah. How else would to charter a fucking flight from Bulgaria, put 200 lads on it, and fly them in? They must be paying them fucking pittance.
Yeah. They're probably You'd wonder how much they are paying them for that, but. As you said, the issue is not people coming in to do the job because we all need fruit and we need vegetables, But it's just, I suppose not. It's a dodgy time to be bringing anyone into the country if it's not 100% necessity, So that's probably, I think, where McGregor had the issue. But it's a funny one. But I don't. Picking fruit is brilliant. It's a shame now that they don't grow as much as they used to. Like when I was younger, you'd have like strawberries and blueberries and maybe not blueberries, but you'd have raspberries growing on the ditches and stuff like that. They were good times.
We have blackberries growing here now, and I can't wait to get fucking cracking on it. If I can get the fucking crows ruined the situation on me last year. They ate every one of them, and then just to spite me, the crows, they turned around and I had a silver car at the time, light silver, so it's close to white.
We were joyriding.
They shat all over it, the bastards.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Yeah, and blackberry shit. So they ate the blackberries and then just peppered it in blackberry shit. I mean, that's just the height of fucking ignorance, isn't it?
That is just. I mean, birds. I was reading about birds the other day, and they're the cheekiest fuckers going. Those crows and different ones, and the cuckoo. They're just nearly pests, you know.
Well, there's a robin out the back there, and I talked about this on my own podcast one time, and I watched a robin and a tiny little. They ganged up, and it was like a little blue tit or something, or a finch. They ganged up on a fucking pheasant that's as big as my dog. The pheasant, he's a big cunt, this pheasant. He lives around, anywhere between three to six hens going around with him the whole time. He's a real pimp daddy, and this fucker survived a long time, I'd say. He's as big as a Labrador.
Wow.
And he got the shit battered out of him by a robin and a little finch. They kicked the fuck out of him, like.
What were they doing? Circling him and just kind of jabbing and moving?
Jabbing and moving. Yeah. Duck and weaving, jabbing, moving. A couple of uppercuts, you name it. But a robin are unbelievably. Everybody has them down as being the lovely poster card.
They're very territorial, aren't they?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I think I was telling you before, we fattened one up that was working on a building site. We're working on a building site for about 3 months.
God
and
knows
he kept on flying down.
Deli food, is it?
Yeah, all deli food. So we're a fat arse builder, sure. And the cunt, he fucking loved jambons. He was like yourself. But he didn't.
A bird after my own heart.
He didn't have that internal monologue to tell him to back off. He kept on fucking eating them. And by the fucking 3 month period when we were finished the job, he was as fat as a fucking pig. He could barely get off the ground.
Fuck's sake! So he probably driving around the roller, was he?
We had him on the dumper. We had him on the fags and everything. He was able to roll his own and everything by the time we were done.
Right. That's the thing about working on the sites. It's great crack, but you end up smoking and fucking eating shite. It's just the sort of, whenever I worked on the sites in the past with whoever it was, like I'd always end up smoking rollies during the break time or eating shite deli food.
It's almost like, when you're small or whatever and you were left off the leash, we'll say, some which way, whether it was the end of Lent or it was Saturday night, you were allowed to have all the sweets, or, or your parents went away and you fucking raided the cupboards or something. Being on a building site is kind of like that. You can just go as mad and you're all mad together. It's acceptable to go mad on shit food, poison yourself with fucking fags. Like, other than the safety aspect, well, I know a couple of fuckers that were drinking as well on the job.
Oh, yeah.
It's all out non-care for your body. Sure, like, imagine some fucker turning up with couscous or fucking avocados.
You'd be ran off the site. So if you turn up a couscous onto the building site, you'd be just... They stick you into the wall with the concrete.
I want to know, because you have obviously been on. You've played your new show is fantastic, by the way. I fucking love it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I love it.
Do you really?
Yeah, I swear to God, the concept is brilliant. The cutaways to the producer is fantastic.
Oh, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Well, it's kind of inspired by like the Eric Andrews show in America. So that style of cutting away to somebody that's the kind of where that idea came from. But delighted people seem to like it anyways. That's the main thing.
Yeah. What was fantastic is that the way he cut it together as well. I liked it because it never gave the guests a chance to get weird. They seemed to be all on board and they knew the crack. They knew the crack from the get-go. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. To the listeners, if you haven't watched it yet, get onto the RT player. I would doubt you haven't. I would imagine most people have seen it at this stage. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I was probably leaning with. I said I have a bit of a biased eye here. I'll try and not have a biased eye, but I didn't. Oh,
brilliant! Thank you very much, Sam. I appreciate it. Well, we did another episode as well, but it was with Declan Ernie, but we couldn't air it in the finish.
Why not?
We never got clearance to air it. I think he might have thought it was something different, so it ended up not getting aired at all. And it was a shame, really, because we had good crack. He's a sound skin, Declan Ernie. He was just back from cruising around the car, Daniel O'Donnell.
So he stopped the world and he got off.
He got exactly, yeah. He stopped the world and he got off, and he put an end to us streaming it or showing it. So that's a shame. But he was a sound fella though, but an interesting fella, and he just came back from a cruise with Daniel O'Donnell and a load of other boys, and he was a proper countryman, which was nice, because sometimes when you're in Dublin, you see a lot of city folk, obviously, but it's nice to meet somebody that's that country, and by Jesus country.
Where's he from?
He's from Longford, I think.
Is he?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I suppose the thing is, you can understand him from a point of view. He probably didn't fully know what he was letting himself in for, that kind of way, because in my head, I had it almost like Zach Galifianakis between two ferns kind of a thing, but it's a lot more lighthearted than that.
Yeah.
That can get quite weird. But the thing is, everybody he has on gets it. And all the people I saw, they seem to get it. You know what I mean? But I could see a fella of his era going, oh, Jesus, this mightn't be good for me. But in actual fact, it'd probably be great for him.
It would have been great for him too, yeah. His episode, I think, if I remember correctly, his episode was The Boom. So I was kind of asking him questions. Is The Boom back? Did you have much of the boom times on the boat when he was in the cruise? And then I think he might have felt like I was trying to get at something, which I wasn't. It was just completely lighthearted shite talk,
Those lads all make a fucking fortune, don't they? And we don't know about it. That's the thing. Like, it's all under the radar. Like, you'll never see them on the charts. You'll never, and they're all fucking slipping away there nicely.
Big Tom made millions. My father's like, he made millions, that lad. Millions. How much did he make? Millions. Oh, yeah. Just like, but the thing is, them boys are definitely making a lot of money, but they're cuting up with it too. They're not out flash driving around in a Ferrari or anything like that. They're driving around in a 2003 Toyota Carina, but they have tinted windows.
I know. My father loves telling this story of how years ago, when he talks about fellas that, millionaires, fucking millionaires, these fellas. And he talked about Joe Dolan one time. He made a set of gates for Joe Dolan. And because the father was welding at the time, so he made a set of gates with this other fella. And Joe was nowhere to be seen for the price of the gates. The gates were up now about fucking 3 weeks, and there was no money coming. Joe was on tour or somewhere. And it wasn't like back then where you could check in on Facebook or Twitter and see where Joe was. You had no fucking idea. So they got a phone call himself. He says he got a phone call this one day anyway off this lad saying, here, I see Dolan's Jag. He always drove white Jags, brand new white Jags. It was outside a pub that the father knew well. So he said he called down to him. There was no going to be no row or anything, because he knew Joe was good for it. Like, he just would be something that'd slip his mind. And he always explained he did this Jag. He was the only fella driving around. He had his own fucking style of leather and everything he had put into it. He had a custom built Jag. And he went in, and Joe was supping away pints at the counter. And he went into him. He says, Joe, I built them gates for you there. He says, how much I owe you? So he told him the fee or whatever it was. And he walked out to the car. By Jesus. No locking on the car. Because everybody knew Joe Dolan's car. He lifted up the back seat. And he says, I'd say there must have been 20,000 in cash under the back seat. And he just caught a ball of money and stuck it into my hand. And that was that.
I love getting a ball of money, not even knowing himself. It was about 15 grand there. Good luck. But I love these kind of people that I know. Joe Dolan's obviously a famous singer, but there's a lad in our town as well, and he made all his money back in England picking stones. Like, he picked stones in England, and now he's a multi-millionaire, and he wears slip-on shoes, and he's got the time of fucking Riley, and he just sits at the bar drinking. He'll have like a whiskey and coke, but he'll sip on away in it every single day of the week. And he made all his money in England. That's all people will tell you. And he sits there, and he's got advice for everyone, and he's a sound skin, but he's got a great life of it, all from picking stones.
Well, by Jesus, picking fucking stones. I knew a fella, he went over to England from Kerry, and he started probably picking fucking stones as well. But he got into business with two other fellas, and they ended up owning all the groundworks contracting for British Gas around the UK. They were fucking millionaires. But they drank it all into the fucking ground. And two of them died. But the fella I knew was still working. He was fucking in his 70s. But you know how some lads can stay tough as fuck?
Oh, yeah.
This lad's still as hard as nails in his late 70s. Like, you knew by even the walk of him, you would not cross this fella. Because if he got a hold of you, he'd bust you.
Yeah.
he was a pro wrestler as well on the side. Did I ever tell you about this fella? No.
No, never. No.
On the side, his name was what was his ring name was something like Jerry Diamond or something, But it was back in the day with Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks and stuff.
Yeah.
But he was a big man himself. He was maybe 6'2", but he's the two lads. I look like one of their children. But he said Haystacks. He fucking loved Haystacks. Haystacks was 30. When he described him, he wouldn't just say Haystacks. He'd say Haystacks, 6'10", 35 stone.
Yeah.
Do you know he'd name his whole fucking his statistics as well? Like,
yeah.
Haystacks himself were fucking great friends, but they used to wrestle every Saturday, and they'd go on the session after that. But he got dropped on his head. A fella gave him a pile driver, a youngish fella, outside the ring one day, pile driver, and he'd gotten excited, you see, because all the old ones, Jerry was a baddie at the time, and all the old ones were shouting and roaring, throwing their handbags at him. So your man gave him a pile driver, but didn't protect him, dropped him on his head. And he still got severe migraines on that spot, maybe 40 years later. But he told this great story about Haystacks, how he had a ferocious temper, and Haystacks drove a grader. You see, none of these lads were full-time. Like, he drove a grader building roads.
Right.
And for anybody wondering what a grader is, it's that big fucking alien-looking yoke that you'll see at the beginning of the building of a motorway that has a blade underneath it that smoothens out the gravel or whatever. So he had the perfect route worked out. Now, every 20 minutes he'd be back by the canteen because he was boiling a big barrel of pig's feet. He'd eat about 40 pig's feet for lunch. And he'd jump off the grader, run up, and he'd prick him with a fork, see how they were going. And the next thing, he came back around, and one of the foremen fucking hated Haystacks. He hated the fact that he was pulling over to fucking check his fucking feet, his pig's feet. So he kicked over the barrel. And this is me. I'm drumming this story down. Jerry tells this like it's fucking a scene from Star Wars, like.
Yeah.
And so Haystacks came back after about the fifth turn, and his barrel of fucking feet were all over the ground. And he knew fucking well, as Jerry used to say, weirdly, the high-pitched voice. And he's from Kerry.
Why did he care that much, like?
He knew fucking well that bastard kicked over his pig's feet. And your man was over having his lunch in a Mark 1. Do you remember the Mark 1 fucking Land Rover Defenders, Thomas? I do. Very specific he was. Haystacks went over in a fucking fury anyways at the top of this maybe 50-foot embankment that was going to be down the side of the motorway. And he went over, didn't ask any questions, nothing. Got a hold of the side of that fucking yoke. And he lifted it with his bare hands, 6 foot 10, 35 stone.
There's always men in these stories. Lifted it out of the trailer with his bare hands. It's always the fucking sentence they use. What else are you going to use? Fucking leather gloves.
He flipped it anyway down the side of the embankment. Your man, he was in hospital for 7 months, but never pressed charges because he was terrified of Haystacks. How true this story is, I don't know. But it was just glorious to hear. But still, you take it seriously because this fella, he was still as hard as fuck. Like, like, I'd say the man ate 3 meals in his whole life. Mutton, more mutton, and yellow bacon. That was it.
And probably liver, I'd say, on a Sunday to treat himself.
Now you're talking.
Yeah. I must tell you, that's actually, I think Giant Haystacks is from, I think he's from Mayo. Kelchama, I think.
I think he is. He's from out, his parents are from out that neck of the woods anyway.
Yeah. It's the fella in our town, and he's, I think they used to call him Giant Haystacks in school. He's a massive fella as well. He's about 6'9", and he was built like a fucking gable of a house. But he used to work on the sites with the outlet, and like normally, like they'd have the roll-on like mixer, with the wheels on the back. They just roll on the mixer into the trailer. But like, anytime they go on the sites and some lad start rolling off the mixer, they'd be like, "No, let this lad take it out." And then this big fucking unit of a lad, we get 2 hands into the trailer, like, and he'd keep picking. He'd go, and he'd lift it off with the hands, and all the builders would stand around looking at him, and they'd be talking about him till lunchtime. But he ended up not being able to go on the sides because his back was fucked.
Yeah.
So it's all talk for a while,
Doing shit like that, yeah. And it's all strongman shit. Like, there was a lad I knew, and again, he's fucked as well. His knees and back are fucked. He was a big, strong brute of a fella. His son was in school with me. His son was built the same way. I think his son went into science or something, but he was totally built to be a builder. Like, he had hands like fucking bunches of bananas. But he, man, had this. He was. I remember you telling me a story about your man that could open the wheel nuts with his bare hands. Like. No point. No need. There has been implements for years to open wheel nuts. There is no need for that kind of carry on. Also, this fella, Noel was his name, to show his strength. The old bags of cement, which were the 50 kilo ones, the 8 stone bag of cement, he could carry 2 of them in his arm and jump off the back of a truck trailer. Not a bother. Other lads would have to hand down one. He'd jump up, get his own. And you're like, there's no need in that.
No need.
It was a fabled story that went around about it. But sure, if he only did it the once, it went on. But he's fucked. The man is only in his 60s and he can barely get out of the fucking bed.
There you go. Like, I mean, for the thing about it is though, like when you're hanging around out lads on the sites or on the farm, and they're like, "Jeez, you're strong, young lad," and you're in your mind, you're like, "Jeez, I'm strong," and then you start doing stuff just to show off for fucking random out lads. You need to think about the long game, I think.
Do you know, you're right, because just as you said that, absolutely. Out lads saying that stuff to you, and it spurs you on. You turn into a fucking idiot.
But you know what the beautiful thing about it is, Tom? The out lads are being cute because they're only saying that to you, so you'll work a bit harder. My father used to always say to me, "Geez, you're brilliant down the bog. You're unreal." And I was like, "Am I?" "You are. You're just the best I've ever seen." And I thought, I'm the best he's ever seen. He must have seen so many lads down here that I'm the best. So I remember then it took me about 3 years to cop that he'd only said that to me to fucking get me to work harder, which he did. He never done a day's work down there, Tom. Just pure dictating. That's all he did down there.
Going back to, I wanted to ask you, talk about the likes of Haystacks and all these fellas, like, who would you get to play in the movie? I saw this being asked last night on a question about, they were talking about that show Tiger King, and I was going to bring up Tiger King with you, but I think it's every podcast in the country has talked about it to fucking death at this stage.
Yeah.
But who would you like, and who do you think would really play you?
I'd like Woody Harrelson to play me. I'd say because he'd look like maybe some far out uncle of mine. He'd be a great person to play me. But if I was being realistic and they were getting someone to play me, they'd probably get bloody Ryan Nugent or someone like that. Or some lad from Fair City who's like, "Yeah, give us a few pound there, I'll do it." But it'd be no one hectic anyway, I don't think.
I can see you have similar shaped heads yourself. You've good shaped heads yourself and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I don't know about good shaped heads, but we probably have a similar shaped head anyways.
Apparently he's a good man on a session. He's supposed to be good crack.
Well, you know, his father was a hitman. I think his father actually might have got killed, but his father used to go out and kill people for a living.
Is that true?
Yeah. Woody talks about it a couple on different podcasts and stuff like that. But he lives now. I think Woody lives in Hawaii now with the missus. But he's from Texas, and I think he's getting a house down in Texas. But he's got a great life, and he smokes loads of weed. I don't even think he drinks, but I seen him on the Howard Stern show before, and Howard Stern was like, "You smoke a lot of weed. Like, how many joints would you smoke a day?" And Woody was like, I don't really count them. And he goes, "Yeah, but you smoke with Willie Nelson. Like, would you guys smoke 15 joints in the day?" And then Woody's like, "Yeah, that'd be on a slow day." So like they're probably smoking 20 joints a day. They sit around playing chess, himself and Willie Nelson's still on the go, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah, so the two of them would just be hanging out down there smoking Dubenstein. So I would love if Woody would play me, but again, it'd probably be just some spin-off of him, like some lad from down the road in the shop.
Well, you'd get at Fair City at best. I'd probably get fucking Ross and Ruin.
Well, Ross and Ruin's a good show, isn't it?
Ross and Ruin isn't bad.
Yeah. Or Tina G have some very good shows actually.
I'm supposed to pick it up. A mate of mine, he works for him. Well, he was acting commissioner. He was trying to get me to fucking learn Irish really, really quickly. There at one stage, he was acting commissioner. He stood in, and he says, "Come on, will you, to fuck?" And of course, right at the time, there was a heap of work coming in the door. I was like, I hadn't time for that. Jesus Christ, if you put it to me now, I'd be fluent by the end of the week.
Although now I doubt they're filming as well, are they? They're hardly filming now, are they?
No, they wouldn't be. They wouldn't be. I wouldn't think they are anyway.
Who would you get to play you?
I don't know. I'd love somebody like Matt Damon, somebody cool like that. Matt Damon's cool. I mean, he's cool in the fact that he's done a load of shite movies too. But then he can turn around and head Jason Bourne, and everything is wiped clean.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. And it's like same to the missus the other day. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to create stuff that's good all the time, but the majority of it's shite. Like if you look at a lot of Elvis's songs or Bob Marley or someone like that, even the Beatles, a lot of the songs are not even that good, So the likes of Matt Damon, he's a great actor and he's been in a few shite movies, but sure, who hasn't really done shite stuff,
That's exactly it, and I suppose it's a sign of the actor too, or a sign of the artist that all that stuff gets washed away. It's like, Harry, sure, look, it was a payday.
Exactly. You got to put food on the table first and foremost, Who do you reckon would play you?
Oh, I don't know. To probably end up being some fucking lad who was in the background, I'd say, of. See, the problem is my accent.
Yeah.
Nobody ever gets my accent right.
Yeah, it's a very distinctive one.
Even lads who are good at accents, they end up doing some weird cross between Galway and Cork, if that's such a thing. I don't know. It would come down to something like that. If you can do the accent, I don't care if you're black. You fucking drive on. You can play me. It's grand.
Well, hopefully, it'd be weird to have a fucking movie made about you, though, wouldn't it?
It would. But even herself put it to me the other day, because the young fella is starting to look really, really like me now at the minute.
Yeah.
But she even said it to me. She goes, "Is it weird to have a little mini you going around?" And I hadn't thought about it before. It's like, Ara. And then whatever way I picked him up this morning, he just kind of gave me a look like, "Where's the grub? What's happening with him?" Looking at him, I went, "Jesus Christ, he's my same old angry sour puss."
That's crazy. That's weird.
It is weird. It is. Yeah. There's no two ways about it. It's. I don't know. I mean, I can stand back and look at most situations and tell you the truth about them, but this situation it's cool. Is it feeding my ego? Probably.
Yeah.
Just creating another version of myself. But yeah, there's definitely a weirdness to it when a lad who's much younger than you, and I would say in a short enough period of time, in the scale of time, is going to be far stronger than me, looks exactly like me. Like he could technically erase me and just be me. Imagine if you could fucking class at telling jokes as well, the bastard.
Fuck's sake. But I suppose your father would have the same thing as well, like when he's seen you growing up. And even when you see, I remember one time I seen a picture, I'd never seen it before, but I think my mother had it somewhere, in the house, in a photo album somewhere. It was a picture of my father in the pub, and he had a leather jacket on. He actually had a small bit of a mullet. And apart from the mullet, he looked exactly like me. And I was like, it just freaked me out altogether, because it was in black and white, the picture, and it was in a pub that looked like it was maybe somewhere in England, maybe Birmingham. But it was just the weirdest thing ever to see somebody that looks just like me, that isn't me.
The weird thing is, I take after my mother's brothers.
Right.
There'd be a bit of the father in me, all right, but I looks wise. But then I don't know. He might end up looking more like herself as he gets older. But right now, when he rose his eyebrow this morning, looking at me like, "Hi," like it wasn't a baby look. Like, hey, happy. It was like, here, get that fucking grub sorted, will you? Do you know he?
There you go. Yeah.
He was giving me. He was barking an order at me just by looking at me.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that must be weird though. Like the way you're creating a personality in somebody. That's like the level of.
I don't want to create the angry bastard that I have in me either. Like.
Yeah, I suppose it's a crazy thing, because whatever way you're acting, it must make you very aware of of how you're acting day to day, does it?
Everything. Even I didn't realize how much of an physically awkward cunt I was walking around the house until you pick up a newborn baby and you walk through doors and down the stairs. You realize, here I'm flaking off everything on a daily basis. I'm walking around like an absolute langer, banging into doors, and because you don't care. I don't wear nice clothes, and I'm worried about it getting caught on a thing. If I dirty something, I keep wearing it, or I fired it. So I'm not a careful person. The only piece of jewelry I wear is a watch, and I purposely got a G-Shock. You can hit it with a claw hammer and not hurt it. And that was the one thing that struck me. I went, geez, I could hit this young fella off everything. I had to avoid fucking architrave and just door handles. I had been hitting off shit my whole life and not realised it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy that maybe makes me, as you said, makes you like more aware of your own sort of life and everything you're doing day to day, even down to the minute details, because they're probably watching you every single second of the day, you know.
That's the thing, and I kind of like that. It's kind of it's much like going back to say being critical of your weight and what you're doing with yourself and all the rest of it. It's also making me critique. Oh, here, I can walk in straight lines now, and I've realized well, I mean, there's no secret. I do swear too much. I curse too much. So I think for this isn't be my like people are talking about. I'm going to learn Spanish and I'm going to try and curse less. That's what I'm going to try and do.
Yeah.
There's people listening to this going, Tom, we've been listening to you for 3 years, you prick. You curse at it. We tune in to hear you curse.
Yeah. I already know. Keep the cursing. The cursing is nice, but
I think maybe curtail it, because a good if you're giving away too many fucks in a sentence, I think it takes away of the value of a fuck, if you know what I mean.
It does, yeah. You gotta spare your fucks, but use them when you need them.
And that is something could go on a t-shirt. That is
spare your fucks, but use them right.
I wanted to tell you another story, but do you know what? We've gone over the hour, and I'm going to save this story for you next week, because I want to see how much you enjoy it, who it is, and I want you to think about this, and for the listeners, because we're all going to go on holidays again eventually. Personally, I'm more of a fan of going to the likes of Mayo than fucking somewhere in hot countries. I prefer, that's my bag. I like running into old funny looking women in Foxford. Do you know what I mean? These are the things I'm in. But we definitely will be going on holidays. And I went on holidays one time with what can only be described as a thunder prick. And that's all I'm going to tell you. And I want you and maybe the listeners to have an old think of, holidays are great, but there's a reality sometimes that, especially when you're younger and a gang of lads go, there'll always be one prick you didn't want to go.
Yeah.
And he rocks up.
Well, Tom, why don't we dedicate the next episode to travelling? And I'll tell a travelling story too about the time myself and the boys went to Gran Canaries. So we can both tell a little travel story.
Brilliant. Yeah, now that's mouth-watering stuff, that is.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I look forward to that now, because people want to get it. You know, people. I'm kind of like the same as yourself. It's nice to be around Ireland traveling, because you're still at home, but also it's kind of like something new along the way. But at the same time, the idea of traveling now seems like a novelty, doesn't it?
Yeah. So the very fact that we can't, it's like anything. Somebody told you that you're never allowed to go to Guam or some bizarre place, or Owen, you are legally never allowed to suck a man's flute.
I'd be like, get me the nearest cock. It's gone straight in the mouth.
I won't enjoy it. It's only to spite you.
Well, why did you let him bum you?
Sure, look at it. A bird never flew on one wing.
In for a penny, in for a pounding. Is it a weird thing to leave the podcast on that note?
No, that's exactly the kind of note we should be leaving it on. A weird note. Weird note. I don't know how much advice people picked up during this whole podcast. Maybe self-criticism and all the rest of it is a healthy enough thing when done right. That's about all we can really and spare your fucks.
Spare your fucks, that's a bit of advice. I'm sure there's some counterintuitive advice in there too. And as Tom said at the start of the podcast, the best advice we can give you is give us 5 stars and a like, please.
There you go. Tell all your friends about it. Share it out. Owen, it has been beautiful as always. I'll talk to you again next week. You stay safe and beautiful.
Take care, Tom. And there's a jacket there for sale if you want it. Good luck.